Hello. Hello. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's a beautiful sunny day, and I was just responding to an email from one of our. It's so funny. Somebody has been started to call the group of people that gather here Kayla Burr Spreading Sunshine. There we go. As the groupies, which just cracks me up to no end because you have no idea my relationship with that word, the groupies. But I digress. Good morning. Spreading sunshine. It worked. Look, sunshine on a cloudy day. Laura Gibbon Voorhees, good morning to you, my dear. Yes, good morning, everybody. All of my dears. Laura Gibbon Voorhees, good morning to you, my dear. Yes, good morning, everybody. All of my dears. Okay. Here's a fun thing, and you know what? I'm going to keep it open. My husband is not home at the last night, so we stayed down at the beach. And so I just realized as I look in my background that you see a slice of the door next to me, the door to my office right here. And I realized, oh, I can keep that open because I don't have to worry about waking him up. I'm keeping it open because I've got the window open, and I want to get some air coming through here. Yes, so tired of the rain. At this time yesterday morning, it was funny. I was getting ready to go to a doctor's appointment, and I was sitting there kind of saying, should I put on my raincoat or could I get away with just wearing this hoodie? And literally outside the window, it was like, gah, like forceful rain down. It was crazy. The good news is weather always changes. Weather always changes. So we had that. And then it went to a drizzle and then a trickle and then nothing and then gray. And then by yesterday afternoon, we had some sunshine. Now, I will admit, I love days like this. I have gotten more stuff. I have gotten more stuff done this morning. Little things, little putter and declutter things that I got done this morning before I even tuned into this TikTok live because the sun was up and I was up too. But I have some time later to take a walk. So what did I get done today? So I'll share with you. I refilled a soap dispenser. So everybody, how are your soap dispensers? Can you fill some soap? If you have liquid soap, can you put them in a dispenser today? I put some dishes, dirty dishes from the sink that I left last night, and I easily put them into the dishwasher today because last night I emptied the dishwasher. I then, as I was doing that, I put the laundry that I even forgot was in the dryer on kind of tumble fluff, like freshen it up. And then I folded some laundry and, because we all know, all these little steps. And I put my husband's laundry on the little table so he can put his away. I put my clean laundry folded on top of my bureau. Got that done. I clipped the tag off of a lovely gift that a friend gave me so I can use it. I think that's about it. Oh, I watered the plant, Yeah, Kayla Bear, I am kind of solar powered. I would not deny it. I'm also caffeine powered and water powered and connection powered. So yay. Now I love this because I just heard a new word from our pal Laura Gibbon Voorhees. I'm a pluviophile. I've never heard that. And yet I know what it means. So I feel kind of excited to be like, oh, I know what she's talking about. I believe she likes the rain. Stand in the rain, right? So today should be good for vitamin D absorbing. Yes, until my old Irish skin here gets all red and burned, right? So I have to be careful of that. Okay, here we go. Your cat, Daniel Meow Meow, Daniel Meow Meow Kitty is saying, get this stuff off of here. That's what kitties do. You've seen those videos where they just kind of stare at you as they move something and it drops. Cats. They are sassy pants, aren't they? Good morning, Erin. Nice to see you. And Melly and Robin and Kayla Bear and all sorts of folks. So, yeah, good morning, declutterers. Yes, good morning. It is Wednesday, middle of the week already. My week is going to end a day earlier because I am leaving on Friday, and I won't be back until Monday, as I keep on saying, but it's so true, and I'm so goddamn proud of her. One of my nieces is graduating college this weekend, so I am going to go as a proud auntie. and support this sharp, smart, loving woman who is getting her degree in engineering and then going on. You know what's really funny? Not even making this stuff up. I literally just got a notification from the hotel, says ready to check in. I'm like, hell yeah, because I want to get an early check-in. So thank you. Yes, my niece is awesome. My nieces are awesome. My nephew is awesome. We're all awesome, okay? But let's use our time together for good stuff. Now, if we haven't met before, as people will know, I'm going to just introduce myself in case there's any new people here. I always want to do that. I never want to take for granted anybody's here who knows what's going on. My name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach. I help you declutter your life. But we start with your house because it's easier. My coaching is called Destination, like a road trip, like a trip. Destination Decluttered. Because that's, I think, where we're all headed, is we are here, cluttered. We want to be decluttered. We don't want clutter. We want to remove the clutter from our lives. Now, what is the clutter? To me, the clutter is the stuff that you have in your house and in your heart and in your head that you're hanging on to, and yet it really does not serve any useful purpose except for making you feel not so good, heavy, weighed down, discouraged, frustrated, angry, sad, all of those, what do you call them? Emotions? It's just emotion that's taken me over. All of those things that are a part of being human. I do not deny that. I am not ignoring that. But what I will say is, you're going to feel that anyway in everyday life. Why keep souvenirs of when things didn't work out? When the crock pot, you thought you were going to make all these crock pot things, didn't work out. The clothing you bought that you thought were going to fit, well, then it shrunk, and then maybe I'll get smaller. The ex-husbands, the paperwork that just drags you down. So, yeah, I love it. I love that we're singing in unison here. That's what we do. Good morning, Abbott Elementary. There we go. Laura Gibney Voorhees has a plan for the hour. Do you? What is it? It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Funny thing is I think I was out at 10 p.m. because I don't really remember those, even though that is allegedly a core Gen X memory. But I'm OG Gen X. So Laura has a plan. Her plan for this hour, ping-ponging, but contained to the kitchen. Putting the invisible force field down on the exits to the kitchen and ping-ponging around to make it feel calmer and tidier. Now, here's an interesting thing, Laura Gibney Voorhees. And actually Brady's Mom 55, notice it can be the same thing. Your brain can feel cluttered, so there's not enough room to make a room to move around, or is it that basement? It's both. It's both. So let me tell you, let's start with the basement because it's a little bit easier sometimes to move it, but the concepts are the same. That's the thing that keeps me showing up eagerly every goddamn day to help you realize, to show you, to illustrate, to remind you, to be patient until it's an aha moment, to be like, oh, she's right. The same process I used to declutter my basement, I can use those very same steps to declutter my brain. And at the end of it, both things are aiming for being good. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit because when I do these TikTok lives and YouTube lives, we have a YouTube live today, but check it out. It's Wednesday, which is typically when I do one at night, and I do have one at night, and I decided to schedule today's TikTok live at 8 a.m. Eastern, and then the it's funny, I wrote down TikTok live, YouTube live at 8 p.m., 12 hours. So it's neat. We're going to start the day together, and if you choose to tune in at YouTube today at 8 p.m., we may wrap up the day together. So I say to you, why not make a plan? Seriously, I do not care to be the center of attention. I am happy on the periphery. I'm happy on the periphery, cheering you on and encouraging me. But I would so much rather you not look at the screen, even just for the next 20 minutes, and maybe listen to my voice. And as Laura was saying, kind of ping-ponging around the kitchen. Now, that's a certain pace. A ping pong ball bops around for, bong, bong, bong. Some people call it pinballing, same type of thing. I prefer a slower pace. Okay? Good morning, Boston sports girl. I prefer the pace of puttering. Puttering or pottering, as a certain songwriter once said. Puttering and decluttering. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Oh, look, I'm going to put this away. Oh, look, I did that. I like that pace, but you move at the pace that feels good to you. It's kind of like when you're on the road and you don't see any road, there's no cars to pace yourself with, and you don't see any speed limit signs. What's a pace that feels comfortable to you? And again, I like to use metaphors from the world we live in, or the lives we've led. So kind of like Goldilocks. Are you going too slow? Are you going too fast? Are you feeling just right? Now, what I want to suggest to you is start this way. This is a good order of operations. That's why I've started to get very clear on some steps you can take, and in this order, it seems to work pretty well. Prove me wrong. Tell me where it doesn't work. So let's start with this, and I want you to think of the word down. So maybe you're sitting down listening to me. But let's start with your physical body, because if I will share with you from my perspective, if my physical body is not feeling good, if there's something out of whack, it can affect everything else. So start with your body, and from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, scan down. Okay, I just did that. I'm feeling pretty good. Are you? If not, where did your scan down kind of light up red? Like, something's wrong. Sometimes I get a headache. I actually had a bit of one this morning, so I took an Excedrin. Not two, just one. I had a rumbly tumbly yesterday, but I seem okay today. I'm not achy breaky, so I'm feeling good. How about you? How are you feeling physically? Do you have your glass of water next to you? Drink down some water regardless. Now, I love this because I'm seeing some of these things now that we pause, because we're all about pausing and thinking, not stopping necessarily and staying there, just pausing and noticing, pausing and noticing, pausing, doing a scan. How am I feeling? I feel good. Like James Brown knew that I would now, right? I feel good. Yeah, I don't feel bad, but if I felt bad, I would do something to change it. In the meantime, it can never hurt to drink some water. So Abbott Elementary, yes, everybody, kind of like picture pages, time to get your picture pages. Everybody, get your water. If you don't have one, get a glass of water. And let's take a couple of sips. Let's take 3 sips of water, okay? 1, 2, ha ha ha. 3 sips of water. Down into your gullet. Breathing down into the bottom of your lungs. Water with lemon, that's nice. Now, see, to me, the lemon would make my tummy go, so I don't do that, but plain water. But you know what? You do what you do. I got water on my glasses right there. How are you feeling physically? Can never hurt to add some water into the mix. How are you feeling, what I just like to call energetically? Because you've got energy and you've got like a network of energy and blood and all sorts of stuff going on in this physical container of your soul. And how are you feeling energetically? Now, sometimes you're ugh, and sometimes you're whee, and sometimes you're right? Those are official terms. And so I just offer to you, how's about feeling just right? Not speeding and not going over the speed limit, not under the speed limit, but are you feeling that you can drive the speed limit that feels good to you? Whatever that limit is today, and it may differ from day to day. It will differ from day to day. And, season of the day. Right now, I'm an early bird, so I'm up. In the afternoon, I'll probably have a lull, and then I may get some energy. So I offer to you, if your energy is too low or too high, let's try to get to just feeling better, or just a little bit more like just right, just like Goldilocks, okay? I like to do that by using the word down. Sitting down, calming down, quieting down, slowing down, breathing down. The breath will give oxygen to your lungs and your cells. And so maybe when you're feeling yucky, some deep breaths will make you kind of come up from the lack. Maybe it will also calm you down. It's beautiful. Breathing and water and noticing and stopping. These things are powerful. Some people want to make it a lot more difficult, confusing. I say keep it simple, silly. Betsy, nice to see you. Okay, there we go. Laura Gibbon Voorhees says, I didn't have my water bottle in hand, so I did a Gen X move and sipped from the faucet. At least you weren't out sipping on the from the what do you call it? The hose, right? So I always try to. I say always try to, because sometimes I just jump in because I do this stuff organically, but I forget to remind you of these processes. Now, here's something that I loved to see up here in the comments. So Ocean Nana, she's our Ocean Nana, you guys. We have a Nana. She lives near the ocean and she loves the ocean. She said initially, yesterday ended up being a wash, like a wash. Hopefully, I will shift into declutter mode today. But notice what happened to her in her very next comment below when we did the scan. When she did the scan yesterday, it said scanning yesterday, scanning down, because I like to put the word down in there, scanning down, told me to rest. Yeah. So yesterday was not a wash, my dear. Yesterday, look at it this way. Yesterday, you listened to your body and you gave it what it told you it needed. Now, this is me. It's funny because I'm talking as if there's your body here and your brain, like you gave it what it needed. You gave you what you needed. You needed some rest. When you rest your body, when your body's like, excuse me, I could use a nap, and you give it a nap, it's going to say thank you, and you will feel better after that. But so I just remind you, please, do not think of it as a wash. I saw something recently on the TikTok, and it talked about how we so closely associate our worth in the United States and maybe elsewhere, but I live in the US, so that's my perspective, on how productive we are, what work we can do. And if you're not doing work, you're not productive and you're not valuable. I call a timeout on that, all right? What I say is, yeah, you can work, but even when you're not working, taking care of yourself is an important thing. Okay? And a lot of what we do here too, especially for the newbies, is we slow down and we notice where the things we tell ourselves are helpful and get us closer to where we want to go. And then we notice when the things we're telling ourselves that may be on a loop, maybe on a cassette tape you've had since 1978, that you're just, and it's just on a constant loop. It's like flipping to the other side and it's playing the same thing over again. Stopping that cassette tape in your head and saying, do I want to listen to this anymore? Is it helpful? And if it's not, we're going to change it. We're going to pop that cassette tape out. We're going to throw it away. And we're going to make a new tape. And it's going to be like digital because it's no longer 1978. And how we do that is slowing down, noticing our thoughts, the words in our head, how they feel in our heart, and what that does with what we do with our hands. Yeah. Okay? So, yeah. So, guilt always sets in when I'm not productive. Okay, Oceanana. Now, you have decades more experience making yourself feel guilty, and you are really good at that. We get good at what we practice. I am just here to offer an opposing view. You have decades of practice of making yourself feel bad when you're not productive, and it's been reinforced by society. We may not change society in this, but you can stop doing it yourself with you. Every single time. Cat Mama, Laura Gibbon Voorhees, yeah. I'm not going to deny that I'm not going to say you're wrong. What I'm here to remind you of is to slow down and stop and say, I have a choice here. When your guilty voice speaks up, noticing it, stopping and noticing, going, wait a minute, we're not talking like that anymore here. That's 1978 talk. That's 1968 talk. That's 1958 talk. We are not using those words anymore. Those may have been allowed back then, but that's not how we talk to ourselves now. It's almost like that girl who does like the gentle parenting teacher thing, hold a bubble and all that. No, stop. We don't do that anymore. We do this. And what we do is we quiet down that voice. Now, this is a fun thing. I learned this from one of my life coaching instructors, and I saw one of her videos recently, so I will pass it on to you. She said to me, the next time, let's see if I can get this right. The next time you hear that unhelpful voice in your head, you're not worth anything unless you're productive. Ask yourself, where do you hear it? What ear do you hear it out of? What direction do you hear it from? The front, the back, the sides? What side? What happens if you take that voice, and we've done this before because Erin knows about talking about your ex-husband on a TV screen way over there. What happens if you imagine that voice saying you're unproductive is way over in the corner, down in the corner, and really quiet? How does it feel if you say that voice is really slow? How does it feel if it says, you're not worth anything if you're not productive? If it's a silly voice. Play around with this. Open up that file. Change some things around intentionally, because the next time you save that file, it's going to be a different version than the one that was there before. It's the malleability of your brain. Okay? Yes, and stop it. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your web-footed friend, 'cause that duck may be somebody's mother. That's a song we used to sing that I think I got from my mother. Be kind to yourself and notice the miraculous changes that can happen. Danielle says, why is it difficult to give ourselves the same grace we would give others and not beat ourselves up? Oh, if I had the true answer to that, I would be a quadrillionaire. Here are some of my thoughts on that, Danielle. I think one of the things that comes to my mind is that we are not encouraged to pay attention to our internal monologue. We are told to shut up and not listen to yourself, your physical body, what's going on in your head. Ignore that and look outside for somebody to blame. Also, it can feel overwhelming when you realize perhaps how much that voice in your head, one of the voices in your head, is a negative Nelly, is a Debbie Downer the whole time. And so you may, as soon as you tune in, say, oh my God. Like when I ask my clients, when I say, hey, why don't we do this? This is what we're going to do. You're going to grab your notebook, you're going to fold the paper in half and just write down what I call your backseat drivers have to say. And I will mute myself and you just write until it's all out. It can feel like a never-ending story, a never-ending, like it's never going to stop. So it can feel overwhelming. Also, we're not encouraged to love ourselves. That's considered, there's some judgy words. You're greedy, you're selfish, you're taking care of yourself instead of others. So there's a lot to do with that. This is what I love, though. I seriously love being a coach instead of a mental health person. At a certain level, I'll be honest with you, I don't care to dig deeper and find out the true core of it. I notice that there are some things underneath, and I say, okay, there's something deeper there, but instead of spending all my time trying to go to the core of the existence and just looking backwards and all that, I say, okay, noted, there's something there. What am I going to do about it today? What am I going to do about it between 8:30 and 9 o'clock a.m. on Wednesday, June 11th, 2025? Okay? So that's what I love about coaching. It's not wallowing in and, oh, I can't start until I figure it all out. No. You know? Now here, this is something I love because Elle said, and I hope that I was clear when I caught myself implying that there's only one voice in your head. Now here's something, I will give some context to this and I will show you how this relates to what I was saying about my life coaching coach, about the malleability of our thoughts, about the fact that you can interrupt them and mix them around and shake them off and throw them off and get your body involved and all sorts of fun things. This image has really helped me, so I share it with you. I imagine myself every moment of my life in the driver's seat of a car. That's why there's a car above my head right now. It's so funny. It's like driving on my hair. I am in the driver's seat of my car. You imagine yourself in the driver's seat of a car. It doesn't have to be a real car, the one you drive now. It can be your favorite car, because your car represents your life. If that isn't an American metaphor, I don't know what is, but call me Ishmael, I am American, okay? In your car, you are not alone. You're not alone. You have two, what I call invisible passengers. You have one passenger that tends to speak up all the time on a running, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this happened, then I went here, and that's your backseat driver. Your backseat driver is what I call fear. I call your backseat driver, and I envision that backseat driver voice coming from a scared, tiny little kid safely tied into their car seat, and they don't want you to go someplace that you don't know where it is, because they are afraid it's going to be scary. So they will speak up just like a toddler. They use simple words, the same words over and over again. They use a cadence of, and then this, and then this, and then this. They try not to give you the words in edgewise. They get loud. They pitch fits, just like a certain president of the United States right now. Bunch of babies. And they just want you to do what they want you to do by making you fearful of change. But notice I said invisible passengers. So you're the driver, backseat driver, fear. However, I did not know I had this consistently until I really started to get self-help help, and it really has changed my life. You also have next to you in the passenger seat your co-pilot. Now, I call it your co-pilot because I remember seeing those little license plates that says God is my co-pilot when, you're shopping on Route 66. I am not a particularly God-based person, religion-based person, but if that feels good to you, use that. God, your soul, your co-pilot, your BFF. You have another voice in you. Now, Elle says, my voice says, don't be afraid. You're more than capable to be more productive. Yeah, or mine says, you don't need to be productive at all. All you need to produce is feeling good about yourself, and you will naturally produce wonderful things in the world. So notice the difference. Notice the difference between where that voice is coming from. And even if it's like, I don't know where it's coming from in my head, where is it coming from in the car? If you're in the car, when you hear a sentence, who's speaking? Is it your backseat driver, fear? Or is it your co-pilot, God, the universe, love, BFF, sidekick, your soul? The people who have loved you in your life and have told you nice things. You have the opportunity to quiet one down and turn the volume up on another one. You have the opportunity, if we're in the car, to hear the song that they're singing and it's making you feel crappy. You can change the station. You can say, oh, no, we don't sing that song anymore. We are no longer singing to the Smiths. We are singing along to the Soul Survivors on the Expressway to Your Heart. Too crowded. That's what I was singing in the kitchen today when I was folding the laundry. So you have a choice, but you don't know that until you tune into the fact that you have a running commentary 24/7 in your self. When you tune into it, you may notice that your co-pilot may be just sitting there quietly and patiently, because it's patience and love. And they are just waiting for you to notice who's just talking in that car. It's the scared little kid in the back seat. And they're going on and on and on about why this can't work, and don't do that, and that's scary, and what if it hurts, and what if all this bad stuff is going to happen, what if. When you are in fear mode, you really can't think of anything else. That's why we interrupt that stuff. Shh, hold on, wait a minute, I just heard you. I don't like that, but we're going to quiet it down with patience and love. Okay? We're quieting down our backseat driver because it's just a scared little kid in the back seat saying, I've never been to a diner before. I've only been to McDonald's. I'm afraid of the unknown. Even when you as the driver know that you're going to that diner, and I'm speaking from experience with my niece. My niece is who's about to graduate college. Little kids in the back seat, just being afraid of the unknown. They've never been to a diner before. They don't know that there's spinny seats and chocolate chip pancakes whenever they want. There's real maple syrup, and maybe they've never had real maple syrup. They've only had Aunt Jemima. And then they get the real maple syrup, and maybe they like it, and maybe they don't, but they didn't die from eating it. You know? Look at your backseat driver, not with meanness, not with a shut the F up. Don't be a mean parent. Look at them with love like you do the little kids in your life that you love. You know? Oceanana, imagine your nephew who you give sheets to and he helps you in the garden. Think of him as that scared little kid in the back seat. You would not beat him up like the way you beat yourself up. So maybe you look at that, you hear what you say, and just pretend it's coming from him. Play around with your imagination, people. Your imagination is a gift that humans are being given on this planet. You can tell how precious it is because there are people there actively trying to replicate it with machines, but nothing will ever replicate the human imagination. Because each one of our brains has so many unique files in it that there's no way that they can resource all that. I find that so encouraging because somebody could take my words that I've already written and my 700, how many do we have now on the TikTok YouTube channel? I'm going to look. YouTube Destination Decluttered. There are 737 videos there. They're growing every day because every day I do a TikTok live, I upload it there. Every time I do a YouTube live, I upload it there so you can have access to it. Now I say this because you have your own unique thoughts and feelings. Use them to your advantage. Notice the specific words that hurt you. You know, you're flabby, you're old, you wear glasses, you know, your teeth are crooked. You're not that smart. You're not an activist. You are a scaredy cat. What is it that people have told you that you've internalized and then you start telling yourself? Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it, Ellen. She says, I think I'm beginning to get it. Thanks. But I got to get a workout on. You do that. You know what the neat thing is, Ellen? When you start to get this stuff, it doesn't just end when you shut off the TikTok. Ideally, if I have done what I hope to do, as Morrissey once said, hear my voice in your head and think of me kindly. That when you're doing your workout, maybe this stuff will go around in your head and you'll just swirl it around and say, is that true? Are there examples of when I have heard that voice and been afraid and not done something? Are there examples in my life where I have quieted down that voice so that my co-pilot could speak, and when my co-pilot speaks, one word, love. Pure, 100% pure love from the back to the middle and round again. 100% pure, unadulterated maple syrup love. New England maple syrup love. Just there with such love, no fear. Just that's what I think. If I were a religious person, that's what I imagine that pure, unadulterated love from that higher source would be. But I'm not, but that's okay. Now, Me says, I'm grateful my co-pilots are my parents. That's great. You are lucky to have parents who are like that. I did not. They did the best they could with the skills they had, but they were also dealing with the parents that they had. And my grandparents were were definitely dealing with the parents they had. These things can be generational. You know? The cool thing is, though, is I hold this up. Look at me. I tell you that I did not get the encouragement that I am giving on a constant and consistent, unending basis on these TikTok lives. I did not get that. And yet, I am living, I dare say, an even better, happier life than they did. It's true. It's true, I think. I hope my dad had a happy life. I pray and hope that my mother has a happy life before she dies. I know right now, and I'm not even 60 years old, that I am already happier than generations of my family, and I want to continue that, not just for my nieces and nephew. No, I'm not gatekeeping what I do just for my family and my surrounding people. I am sharing what has worked for me here on TikTok and on YouTube to help you. Okay? Now, I know I've gotten into the deep stuff, but there is deep stuff. If you ignore the deep stuff, which is basically how you talk to yourself and how you react to those words, you're not getting anything done and you're feeling crappy. And I will share with you, I find that when I feel better, I do better. Now, here I am. You're going to see me kind of swimming, even though I talk about the road trip analogy. The analogy right now is the swimming pool, but let's use the ocean instead. I'm going to mix it up and practice seeing the ocean when I say this. Right now, we're getting pretty deep, right? Wow. God and love and politics and stuff and how people feel and love and fear and hate. Let's paddle over to the slightly shallow end. And how can we use these deep concepts to declutter our houses? You know? Before we jump into that, though, I'm going to go even shallower, and I'm going to answer this off-topic post because it's a pretty simple thing. But Mama Pepper is asking, off-topic, but when your house was being built, what was that nice alcove behind you originally for? It is a nice alcove. It's got a curved wall here, and an arch here, and a curved wall here, and an arch here. And on the other side of this wall is our bedroom, and it has the same alcove. Basically, what it is, it's pretty simple. If it's so funny, the one day I have my door open because my husband's not around and I can get the air coming through. There is a closet behind this door. You've seen it. It's just painted white. And there's a closet right there. This big fat wall was created with that alcove to allow this room to have two closets. Initially, when we moved in, we thought it might have been like for a Murphy bed. It's not, even though on the other side is where we scooted our bed into the alcove. But yeah, our house is very unusual, very different, very demure and mindful. It's not demure at all. You've seen it. Colors everywhere, goofy stuff, Pee Wee Herman. But I love it. It's one of the things that I listened to my co-pilot. I was so afraid when we were buying this house because I was a fraidy cat about a lot of things. But my co-pilot said, stop being afraid of what could go wrong and start to lean into what could go right. Now, my co-pilot doesn't necessarily speak in those like things that you could embroider on a pillow, but it was the same sentiment. Yeah, oh, I love it. Mama Pepper has been curious about that for 2 years. Seriously. Now, here's a fun thing I will just offer to you as a life lesson because it also relates to decluttering. Curiosity is a wonderful, wonderful feeling because there is a question, and if there's a question, there's sometimes an answer. So I offer to you, you can ask me questions. You can be curious about something and you can ask for the answer to your question. You notice that kind of resolve. When you have a question and it's unresolved, you're like, oh, there's like an open loop here. When you get an answer, resolution. Now, if you ask me questions I don't feel like answering, I totally won't answer them because I have my boundaries and I am so good at them because I'm from New England. All right. But if it is a question I feel comfortable answering, I'll answer it. If not, one of the phrases in my life and in my family is none of your goddamn business. And if I feel the specter of none of your goddamn business coming up, I will pretty much lovingly say that to you. Love the pink door too. Thank you. Yes, this is the door. This is when I was going through my pink phase. I didn't realize it until, hello. The door to our bedroom is painted aqua. The door to my husband's office is painted, it's so funny. I think it's painted gray. We wouldn't have done gray. Green? It's so funny. I live in this house. I'm going to go look at 8 p.m. tonight. I'm going to let you know what the door, every door is a different color. Door color. But look, notice, like clutter, you can walk by something hundreds of times a week and you don't even see it because it's become part of the furniture. I love it. Damn it, Donna's front door is aqua. Now mine is just plain wood because it's a funky door and it looks good wood. So here we are back in Declutterland. We have talked about some deep stuff, but I want you to I want to share with you that they're all interrelated. It's kind of like the ocean or a swimming pool. That it's the same water everywhere. It just depends on how deep you want to go. All right? So you are going to go as deep as you feel safe going. You can stay in the shallow end. That's fine. You can take a step closer to get a little bit deeper and acclimate, and then you take a little bit deeper, acclimate. There's going to be a certain point, though, where, like the ocean, it's so funny, I've got the ocean and a swimming pool in my head, where you're going to be between where your toes are on the bottom there and where your head is, and one more step makes you have to trust the float. Trust that the water is not going to drown you, but it's going to allow you to float. So I'm just here to show you that you can move into it in the steps. So let's talk about this again. I always want to make sure that I'm not just getting so deep and people are like, I thought she was going to help me declutter her house and she's just talking about swimming pools and movie stars, right? No. You have a thought in your head that is stopping you from taking the next step of decluttering wherever. If you have stopped decluttering, you have a reason why you stopped there. Now, it could be because I got tired, I ran out of time, and I'll do it tomorrow. That was me yesterday with just the dishes. I have deep clutter over here because of the basement project, which is making progress. And some of these things, I want the space and the time and the mindset to go deeper into some of these sentimental things. Other things, I have stuff that's stored that I need to see what I stored last year and see if I still want it this year. So notice that there are different layers. There's the shallow end, there's the medium end, there's the deep end, kind of like a swimming pool or the ocean of clutter. And you can decide where you want to swim today. You want to decide if you want to swim at all or just wade in. Now, you know, maybe, I hope all of you have been to the ocean because it is amazing. I grew up in New England, so I kind of just, I feel the draw of the ocean. Yeah, and Melly, spot on. Sometimes I just need a mental break from the decluttering. I think it's decision fatigue. You are right. You are right. It can be and often is decision fatigue. And yes, sports girl, blue heart in the wave. I love a blue wave on many levels. But notice that, yes, decluttering is decision making. When you use any muscle in your body up to like the level, you will get fatigued. So what do you do with your muscles when you are fatigued? You let them rest, and then hopefully you show up again and do the thing. Okay? Now, EKBPM says, tips for managing children's birthday gifts and goodie bags when your child look forward to gifts. Now, here's kind of funny thing. That sounds like something you can type into AI and see what comes up. Yeah, and the Gulf is beautiful too, but the Gulf is an ocean too. Any body of water, because we are all made of water. Children's birthday gifts and goodie bags when your child looks forward to gifts. How about this? One of the things I am finding at my time in life is realizing how much I've accumulated already, and that when I get more things in, it's either going to add to the pile or I need to remove some things. So perhaps what you could do, EKPPM, this is just something that came to me, is you could establish a process, a habit, a routine, a tradition, as it were, in your house that says to your child, hey, I know you look forward to gifts, but if we keep all the gifts, it's going to be overwhelming and you're going to not have space for the new stuff. Part of what we do when we're bringing in the new is we look at what we've used in the past year and what are you feeling okay to let go of to make space for the new, because if there's not space for it, it doesn't come in. You only have 12 parking spaces. You've got an egg carton. You've got a dozen eggs. In order to bring one more egg in, you have to take an egg out. So perhaps you make it a fun game. You teach your children early on in their lives that it's okay to let go of things. That it's okay, that it's part of the natural process of so many things for things to go away so new things can grow. Old trees will fall so that new ones will spring up. You eat something and then you poop out what you don't need. There's so many ways in which this is an organic process, that you're in a certain cycle. An ocean wave comes in, an ocean wave comes out. And I know what makes an ocean wave wave. I can walk like a penguin. Right? My name is Karen. So notice what you want, though. What do you want? EKBPM. You could say to the people going to the thing, to the party, no gifts, please. But there is so much, you don't want a kid to feel lack. You don't want to feel like, oh, I told people no gifts and you gave them to kids that didn't need it, but I didn't have any. You don't want to get your kid into a sense of lack. However, also an overabundance does not lead to happier. Remember, I want it now. Now I don't know the song well enough, but remember the kids who went to, what's his face? Willy Wonka? Violet Crumble or whatever her name was? Violet Blue? Yeah? So you don't want to raise that kind of kid either. You want to feel just right. I can have enough for me and share what I have. But it can be a thing that you teach kids, but it's harder to teach it if you don't feel it yourself. Okay? I love it. Yesterday, Cat Mama brought electronics to Staples yesterday to recycle. Awesome. It was on the kitchen table for a week. Yeah, it was, but now it's not there. Awesome. Jesse, good morning. I got so much accomplished yesterday, but I'm sore and struggling today. Of course you are. Veruca Salt, thank you, Lori Wiggin Voorhees. Okay? Yeah, I knew it was the name of a song or a band. If you did a lot yesterday, you're going to be tired today. If you worked out yesterday, you may feel the results of it. That is part of the process. That is part of it. Nothing has gone wrong here. You have temporarily tired out your physical body and your decision-making body, which is your head and your heart. So Jesse, I highly recommend today, build in a recovery day. Today is the day that I delight in all I did yesterday, and I take care of myself so I have more energy to dive in at a level that feels good to me the next time. I almost got a dumpster full yesterday. Awesome. Good. Revel in your accomplishments. Don't push yourself when you're exhausted. You're just going to hurt yourself more deeply. And seriously, I think about this with decluttering and working out. If you hurt yourself and you associate that action with pain, you're going to be less likely to show up the next time. That's why I know I have stopped doing certain exercises because I hurt myself. Now, it will take me some time to work back into it, but when I do it, I'm going to make sure I don't hurt myself. Okay? Now, planning a move soon and don't have... Okay, Christine says, good morning, Beth. What do I do with old cassette tapes, CDs, and records? I'm planning a move, and I don't have the heart. Notice that feeling, that saying we use. I don't have the heart to throw them away. Once again, for the people in the back, just because you don't want something doesn't mean it has to go directly into a dumpster. It doesn't go from I don't want it to trash. Donating. Okay? There we go. Yeah, Goodwill, vintage records. There are more records being sold nowadays than there have been in the past 30 years when the advent of CDs came in. Okay? Christine, I will offer this too because I have some kind of mixtapes and things like that. Kids now are delightfully discovering cassette tapes as if they are 75 RPM records or wax cylinders. Kids are discovering previous generations' technology and delighting in it. Okay? So I offer to you that are you using the records for what you originally used them for, which was to hear the song on demand? I'm thinking probably not. You're probably using your phone or your computer for that or something. Technology has changed. So now you're not using them for your official what I did. Now they've become kind of sentimental objects. My cassettes and CDs and records, 100%, remind me of who I was at a certain era and who I am now. But I say to myself, do I need to keep that cassette tape of, I was going to say Milli Vanilli, but I never had it. Do I need to keep that Let's Active CD or record? Excuse me. No, it was a cassette. Do I need to keep this in order to remind myself that I liked that band? If yes, that's okay. All right. The other thing is too, or could I share that with a younger generation? Now, I grew up thrifting old stuff, so I love giving the things that I think young people would delight in. So notice where you're keeping things and why you're keeping them, and don't judge yourself about it. Just get curious about it. The other thing too is, can you take a picture of that cassette and then write the story of it? For perfect example, I have a cassette with 5 songs on it. This band Let's Active. I saw them in 1982 or 83 at the Channel. I'm pretty sure they opened up for Echo and the Bunnymen. It was definitely when I was under 21 because it was an all ages show. I think it was during a snowstorm. I saw the band and they were cool, and that was at the advent of I saw a band that nobody knows about, so I bought the record. I have the record. Do I? I might have given it away. I haven't listened to it in years. I have a cassette of the same record. I don't even know where I got it, but I thrifted it because I thought it was cool. Do I need it? Not necessarily. So I throw it back into the mix. I put it somewhere where somebody else can find it, and maybe they will listen to the music and be delighted by it. Okay? Yeah. And yeah, in the world where kids have never known anything but computers and digital and downloading, having something tactile to look at and open up and absorb like we used to, and read the liner notes and see what records they were advertising on the inside sleeve of the Herb Alpert, that can be really fun for a lot of people. So I look at me releasing some of the things that I've saved sentimentally and said, how can this delight somebody else? It brought me delight. How can I have it delight somebody else? That's how I was able to let go of some of the records I have that I know I'm pretty much not going to listen to, but I save for sentimental reasons. I also have some records that I know that I can envision myself putting onto the turntable and listening to them as I putter around the house. The ones that I'm listening to now are different than I listened to in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. Okay? But notice what we did. We slowed down and we walked through a process. We stopped and we just thought of some stuff. And notice how different thoughts make us feel different feelings. Oh, I'm throwing my records in the dumpster. I'm throwing my youth into the dumpster. I'm no longer youthful. Well, that feels shitty. Don't do something that feels shitty. How about, I love this band so much and I want somebody to be delighted to get this purple and white marbled 12-inch single import from Germany of the Smiths' This Charming Man. I have had it for a certain number of years, so somebody saw how cool I was. If they ever looked through my record collection. Well, ain't nobody looking through my record collection except me, and I know I'm cool. So I can then give that record to the guy at the record store and say, here, you want this? And he's like, yeah, oh my God, this is worth something. Here's some money. Yeah. And spreading the word on the things you loved, getting the songs that you loved into circulation so more people could hear them. Not just gatekeeping it for yourself. Sharing versus being greedy and keeping it to yourself. How can you get the word out about those local bands you loved? Now I do this. I used to like some local bands up in Boston. So I make sure when I am decluttering my record collection or my CDs or my DVDs, if there's anything that's regionally specific, I wait till I'm up in New England or Massachusetts to then donate them or just, put them somewhere where somebody can find them, because it increases the likelihood that somebody who knows what it is going to appreciate it. Nobody in Pennsylvania is going to know who, the Atlantics were, for example, just like nobody in Massachusetts is going to know who Tisra Till was. Some things are regionally specific. So putting your things in a place where you choose to believe that somebody who is going to consider it a treasure is going to find it, I have fun with that. I really do. I hope you have fun with it too, as opposed to saying, oh, what do I do with all this? And you may choose to keep some of them. Any percentage you keep and any percentage you are okay with letting go of, whatever that number is, as long as it feels good to you, it doesn't matter what the number is. I can only keep 10 records. No, how about I'm keeping the ones that make me feel good, and I'm okay with releasing some of these other ones. But notice, it's all about getting in touch with feeling good in your heart. When you feel good and you feel secure in that it's not lack and not emptiness, you're going to be more generous. You're going to be more loving to other people by sharing your abundance versus greedily hanging on to it. And I will say this, in the non-vacuum that we live in, notice the greedy people in the world right now. They have money to make sure that nobody is hungry or naked or unhoused or uneducated, and they choose not to do that. Are they happy? Hell no. They're doing drugs. They're doing all sorts of things. So I say to you, please note, in the real world examples of having too much does not guarantee happiness. If anything, it makes it worse because they bought into the lie that much wants more. That it's not okay. It's if I have this much and it's a pissing contest. Don't play that game. Do not play that game. Do not be one of them. Do not be greedy. Share your abundance. Connect with people on a person level. Do not hang out with jerks. I don't know. But trust what feels good to you, and note that if you're not feeling that way, you can do something to change it. And when you do, your heart opens up, your world opens up. Now, this doesn't mean it's open to everybody. No. This is why, and I've barely talked about like what I do, but it's only 2 minutes into this TikTok, 2 minutes left. This is why when I share the good stuff from Destination Decluttered, I only share it with people on my mailing list. Okay, yeah, having a big parade for yourself. Does that make you feel good? Nope. How about using all that money to make sure that little kids aren't starving? That people have warm coats in the winter? What kind of rich person do you want to be? Now, I am definitely not a rich person on many scales, but sometimes I am. But I love the feeling of being able to share what I have. Yeah, and if you're nauseated by that waste of money, what can we do with what we have to share it with other people? And not just our stuff, but your expertise, your connection, your encouragement, your connectivity. This is what I'm bringing to the world right now. Okay? And this is why I obviously am trying to be very obvious in the same process you use to declutter your home can help you gain the skills to change things outside of your house as well. Okay? But until you calm down your nervous system and realize how to work within you, it's going to be harder to do that outside. Okay? I'm trying to be very clear about that. If you don't align with that, that's fine. But I go back to, before I sign off now at 9 o'clock, a couple things. First of all, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. Decluttering in life, because we live. Decluttering life coach, Destination Decluttered. DestinationDecluttered.com is where you sign up for the mailing list. And I do gatekeep the good stuff for the people on the mailing list because a gate keeps out the trolls. And we're pretty good here. We have quality people right here. Small but mighty. Okay? Yeah. And so I offer to you, if you like what I'm doing and you want more skills, and this one got deep. I get deep sometimes. It happens. We can also paddle around in the shallow end, but I want you to see the correlation between your clutter and what's going on in your heart and what's going on in the world, because they're all interrelated. We do not live in a silo that's the size of our screen. You shut down your screen, you look out and you say, okay, if I know how to make good stuff happen in my house, how can I make good stuff happen outside of my house? This is exactly what I've done, and I just want to share those skills with you in a fun way, all right? So if you're interested in signing up for the free mailing list, it does not cost any money. We do fun things. We've got a schedule for the TikTok lives and YouTube lives that you get access to. I call it the TV guide because I'm of an age. Declutter parties. We've got a bunch of them in June. We have one tomorrow, Thursday morning. We also do other fun stuff that I make up all the time. We're going to start like a pen pal thing. So if you're interested in being pen pals with somebody else, you want to connect on another level with some, and I just mean like a more personal one-on-one level, writing emails back and forth with somebody here that you want to feel a connection to, let me know that. I'm going to start something like that. Okay? But in the meantime, what I want to offer to you is this. You have more power than you think you do. Okay? It's always been there. It always will be there. It's just a matter of dusting it off and practicing using it. And the more you practice using something, just like a muscle in your body, the stronger it gets. And you can use your muscles for harm, or you can use it for heart. And I say, let's use our muscles for good and not evil. Okay, yeah, Shannon in retrograde says, join the pen pal group. It's going to be fun. And how you do that, I'm still figuring it out. But those of you on the mailing list have my email address. If you're interested in being pen pals with other people on the mailing list, let me know by sending me an email, and I will collect up y'all, and then we'll figure out a way to share that info. Okay? And hey, this is a cool thing to sign off on. Laura Gibbons Voorhees started at the beginning here today, and now she puttered and decluttered, as I like to say, in her kitchen. She now has a calmer kitchen. Can you imagine what good she's going to do today for herself and the world? Because her kitchen is calmer and she feels calmer in her kitchen. All right? Now, I'm going to go out to my kitchen. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I have some stuff to put from the washer into the dryer. I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to do some coaching. Going to do a YouTube live at 8 p.m. today. Join me there, won't you? Okay? Destination Decluttered on YouTube. I'll see you at 8 p.m. tonight Eastern. And let's see how our days went. Let's make it a good day so you can report back to me the good stuff you did. Where you quieted down your backseat driver and you turned up your co-pilot. And did you notice a difference? I hope you did. Okay? I will see you guys in about 12 hours. All right? Bye.